Here we are on beautiful Jones Street.
You saw Ted Jones.
All right, cool. Optimal settings. I don't want them to think I'm not a professional.
You are a professional, bro. This is your second time here.
Dude.
Have you been traveling a little bit recently?
I have been traveling.
What parts
Not bragging.
What parts of the United States have you seen that you hadn't seen last time you were here?
Yeah. A lot of the Midwest. Been in the Midwest twice. Went to Virginia.
What's the Midwest considered these days?
Dude,
because Chicago is in the middle. If you look at a map, Middle East.
So I was in Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you're considering Midwest.
Near the area. Yeah, that whole spot. That's a great point. We were in flyover country, and someone said we're in flyover country. It's like, oh yeah, that's what this is. Dude, I'm such a fucking New York elitist. I was like, wow, I'm actually like, people actually live here.
Could you see yourself ever leaving New York? I mean, you're a true New Yorker like myself, which people people never really know where I'm from. People will say I give an LA vibe, or I'm from Miami. Some people ask if I'm from Connecticut.
I wouldn't clock you as Midwest though. I know where you're not from.
No. Yeah,
I'd clock that for sure.
I wouldn't say Chicago, but I could see myself maybe being from a place like California or maybe Florida, but that's probably it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But New York guy.
Yeah. New York. I would go New York, LA, or Cali. I'd say Chicago maybe.
Really?
Yeah, but like, yeah, you're right. Even that, I'm like, that feels wrong,
dude,
friends.
Were you around during the Facebook album era days?
No, not really.
That was a crazy time where you would just want to make your Facebook album, like your Facebook page, look as cool as possible. Like somebody would go out, they'd bring a camera, they'd take all these pictures, and then they'd tag you.
Nice.
And then you'd untag the ones that you didn't look as fresh in, and then you just keep the ones that made you look cool. You know, like you'd be holding the bottle at the club.
Yeah, all right.
You know what I mean?
How was your Facebook album?
Sick.
Fuck.
I mean, dude,
it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, true. But like being a club promoter, I always wanted to like be with the hottest chicks in pictures, stuff like that. Lame stuff like that. And that's when people were still smoking cigarettes. They didn't have the vape back then.
Oh, cigarettes are cooler though, for sure.
I think so. They're making a
Do you ever see someone with like a lame Facebook album and you're like, this guy's a fucking loser?
Maybe back in the day.
I would have had a bad one.
I mean, not anymore. You would have had a bad one?
Oh yeah, mine are terrible. Dude, if you're talking about my Facebook got hacked, and now it's now all it is it's ads from a Chinese company telling everyone I know to lose weight.
Oh,
like it's a bunch of pictures of it's a bunch of pictures like, this is me and after on Ozempic, and it's just a Photoshop picture of the same woman.
It's crazy how many times I'll see people's Facebook albums get hacked, and like that's the thing that draws the most the views is people losing weight doing Ozempic. You don't smoke the vape, do you?
I do not.
Do you know like a lot of kids that you went to school with smoke
I
the
was
vape?
remember when like a kid, it was like the cool kid that was 2 years older than you, like your older cousin or whatever. I had one kid, I'm not going to say the real word, but I was in 6th grade, and my buddy who was in 8th grade is like, Juul, right? And I was like, no. He goes, good. Juuling's for F slurs. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm never juuling now.
So what was he smoking? Like like a watermelon vape or something?
No, he wasn't smoking anything. He was like, don't do it. He was like my friend that would like take me to parties and shit, you know? So he was what I thought cool was.
Is he like a mentor?
Kinda. I would say that's fair. That's fair. He was probably like one of the only cool kids in my life.
Interesting.
He kept me off the vapes. I was all good with that.
What does he do now?
Finance, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, finance, making great money.
Nice. Do you, maybe it's like a full change of pace and change of subject,
maybe.
but do you use Chat GPT or use AI in any way?
Yeah, not super intensively. I'm just because I don't work a career where that would be necessary at this point. I definitely would. I totally would. I'm also not one of those people that's just fundamentally against it. It makes a lot of really mundane things much easier.
And I don't know if that's gonna transform over to comedy because people do love the live connection.
That's true.
But I've seen and I know of people that use AI to write jokes.
Wow.
Which is insane.
Are they good?
I mean, no, but I mean, they could get to a point where they're good.
That's fair.
I saw somebody literally writing in AI about a bit. Like writing into
I've seen that.
ChatGPT.
I've seen that too. I've also seen people go on stage and be like, look how bad these jokes that ChatGPT wrote, and then they did that for 4 minutes. You're like, all right, man, thanks. You brought 10 people to Gotham to tell them ChatGPT goes. Good job. I don't know. It's concerning. I mean, I think underestimating technology is something that just long term is going to screw us. I've always had this fear that when Dave Attell dies, they're literally going to take his brain and implement its fucking neural patterns into AI and just turn into a perfect joke writing machine. Him and Dangerfield are probably the best ever, where they're very much like, this is the funniest thing you could say at the second, and it takes the least amount of time to get there. Which I think is if AI is gonna write jokes, they're gonna be like that. And if AI is gonna beat people at writing jokes, it's gonna be like that. Where it's just more efficient.
Pop like every 2 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. It's efficient. It's efficient, and it has a very solid punchline for how efficient it is to get there. Yeah, which I agree with you. I think that is scary.
I think just also from any people who are in other fields where it makes it so much easier, like school, for example. Did you have access to it in college, or were people
Last 2 years? Yeah,
people were starting to use AI to write essays.
It's scary good. It's scary good. I've heard people use it to actually. This is not funny at all, but I've heard people use it to critique the education system in general, and that's saying like, okay, so the reason AI is so good is because a lot of the things that schools require is very memorization based.
Yeah.
And of course, AI is going to write the perfect essay if your whole job is just to state all the facts. Like that's what computers do best. And they think there should be more of an emphasis on creative thinking. I actually don't super subscribe to that, maybe a little bit, but I really do think that the essence of creativity is hard skills and memorization. So I think if people actually do learn to do that, that is the best thing possible. For what it is worth, some of the smartest people I know used AI to write their essays, and had zero fall off as far as I could tell, conversationally, or how efficient they were at their work, or even just how smart they were in general. So
I remember when I was in middle school, the use of calculators was, for the most part, banned. You couldn't use calculators at all.
Yeah,
and then 2 years later, everyone was using calculators. And then by the
hilarious.
time I graduated high school, it was like calculators were
Required.
allowed during
Yep.
the test.
Yeah, that's
I
hilarious,
don't know.
dude.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. That's how fast it changes.
Yeah. Like over the span of 5 or 6 years, it was just now calculators are fully implemented into all classes, you know?
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm a substitute teacher, and I've very much, what they tell me to do every single class is just, give out the laptops and kids will just fuck around and play video games on there. And that's fine. I hope every time I do that, I just hope that is what they're doing because I'm a substitute teacher and because I'm not supposed to teach the real shit. That being said, on the flip side of it, what is really interesting is kids are very, very good, at least the schools that I teach at coding now. They have a way better understanding of computers.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Kids are doing, it's not very high level code. Have you ever coded before?
No.
It's very much problem solving. A lot of that's, I would even say that's most of what code is you have all these tools, you have this thing needs to happen. How do you use these tools to make this certain outcome? And they're efficient. That's why good coders are valuable a lot of time, because they're so efficient. They're able to get to that solution with very little lines of code, which means there's less room for error. And there's just less room for error. It's just more efficient to get there. And kids are doing that. Kids are learning to code now. Like kids are they're being it's through Scratch, so it's not like C++ or anything, but they're being given a task with no direction other than make this thing happen, do it any way you can.
What's Scratch and what's C++?
So C++ is, I'm so not a computer expert. My girlfriend's gonna watch this and think I'm a freaking idiot.
No, but dude, the fact that there are classes in coding now is just
it's
like,
very impressive.
insane.
And it's like second grade too, which is crazy. And it was to the point where I, as I like to think relatively intelligent 24-year-old, was like, oh, it would take me a second to figure out how to do these problems. Mostly because I don't know how to code, but that's a good thing. That means they know how to code and I don't really. So Scratch is, I don't want to get it wrong, but from my understanding, it's a very simple coding software that specializes in graphic animation. So a lot of the shit that they're doing is like, create a story of a wizard going to the store. And then you have to import images and the way a lot of code, it's a lot of math. So you'd be, okay, every time you click, the wizard that I imported would move 10 inches to the, or 10 whatever units to the left on the x-axis. And that's how you move things around. It's very numerical. It's all on a grid. I know I'm doing a terrible job explaining it, but that's essentially what they essentially just have to create their own scenarios with code, and are given it's very little direct. It's a lot of critical thinking. It's very little direct help.
What about foreign languages in
Schools?
Yeah, is it elementary school?
All of them speak Spanish.
Right.
Because I teach in Harlem. Yeah.
Well, dude,
a lot of them don't speak English.
Yeah, but at home, that's what they're speaking.
Yeah,
for the
I
most
know.
part.
Yeah.
Is Chinese being taught?
I have had a pretty high level professor at an Ivy League school tell me that he's concerned about the amount of Chinese students in high level American institutions, for what it's worth too. Is Chinese being taught? By me, no. Definitely not by me. I don't actually think so. From what I understand, granted, I teach mostly elementary school.
Yeah.
I think Spanish is the default. And I would imagine that's just because they have the greatest supply of teachers that can speak it. So it's just easiest to learn. And it's also very applicable to your life in New York City.
Do these students use apps on their phone to help them with these?
Yeah, all the time. They cheat like crazy. For sure.
Damn.
But again, I think seeing them code has shown me the flip side to it, where it's like, okay, you are just learning to solve problems in a more efficient way, arguably in a way that is more applicable to the modern world, right? Because you're always going to have your phone. I don't know shit about coding, for the record.
Do you see the phone becoming even more a part of everyday society, like with the kids that you're teaching? Like they would have maybe like the chip in their wrist.
I could see that
instead of something like that.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I do for sure. I mean, I wasn't in high school that long ago, so I don't know if it's. I think it is. I don't know. I think between when I was in high school senior and now, I think the average student engages with their phone probably around the same amount, at least relative to my friends. I think the key difference is they just have access to better technology earlier.
How many hours a day do you think those high school kids are on their phone?
Bro.
And do they have to put their
when I'm in the
phones away?
classroom, all of them, dude.
Yeah.
Every single second.
But is there a rule where they have to put away their phones during the day?
Yes, there is. And actually what a lot of schools will do is they'll be like, you have to put your phones into a bin before class starts.
And then at the end of the school day, you get your phone?
At the end of the school day, you get your phone, yeah, which I'm super for.
What do you think their screen times are looking like?
Oh, bro. What's yours looking like?
Like 6.5, 7 hours?
All right. 6, 7 hours. You hit 7 hours?
Sometimes.
That's kind of impressive.
Well, I use my phone for the most part for working.
I agree, because you're
I'm
you're
like on my phone
creator.
all day. Yeah, exactly. Actually, maybe not that long. Maybe I'm being
7 hours.
Let me
is a
check.
lot. I mean, you actually do shit on there. I'm probably hitting like 2.5, 3.
What?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it. I know. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see. Maybe I'm being dramatic.
I mean, you also,
Screen.
you're doing stuff on social media, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
It's just too high. He's going to edit it out.
Bro,
I want
no,
you guys to know it.
It says daily average 6 hours and 40 minutes.
That's not, yeah, that's,
I thought younger kids would have been way more.
It might be more. To be honest, they might collect it when I'm in the class.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of encouraging how little they use their phones when I'm there.
Okay.
In that they're still being allowed knowing little shits talking to each other. And I think that's encouraging because it's like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do when the substitute teacher's there.
Yeah.
Like that shows that you still have human contact. They actually often don't want to be on their computers and would rather hang out with their friends.
Wow.
And I see that and I'm secretly
That's
kind of
different.
proud. It shows that I'm bad at my job, which is not awesome.
This shows that you're good at your job.
I
man.
think so.
Maybe you belonged in the early 2000s, 90s.
I was born in the wrong era.
Yeah. I sometimes feel like that. I would have liked being in a time when everything was word of mouth.
That would have been nice. That would have been very nice. I had this weird thought the other day where I was like, okay, I think it's going to be harder for younger directors to make movies in past time periods just because conceptualizing like how difficult it was to find things, how difficult it was to make plans, how difficult it was to get news is so tough without a phone. Like, I just don't know the mindset of someone who has to meet up with their friend.
I think, yeah, finding things and communicating is just the most outlandish ideal for people who are growing up in today's age.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, I was the other day, me and my friend, we said we'd meet at the gym, and he wasn't at the gym. And I was like, oh, if I didn't have my phone, like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't know where to find him. I would be screwed.
What happened? He just was late?
He was just late. Yeah, that's fine. A couple minutes late, but
A couple minutes late, or he didn't?
he's a couple minutes late.
Okay.
A couple minutes late. But actually, he was already upstairs. He was a couple minutes late, and then went upstairs without
Right.
me.
Well,
but if I didn't have my phone, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, a lot of time was probably wasted back in the day. But also, if you think about because also I think the house phone was just a huge
House phone was
change of
big.
anything. You can leave voicemails on the
Yeah,
house
yeah,
phone.
that's true.
And then some people started getting the car phone.
That's
And
true.
then their cell phone, and then it sped up so quickly. I
fair.
remember I was one of the last people of my friends to switch from a BlackBerry, which you probably don't even know what it is. You remember what that is?
Dude, Brick Breaker?
Yeah, dude. I didn't know you know about
I love
that.
Brick Breaker.
Oh wow, okay.
I love Brick Breaker.
Yeah, Brick Breaker to the iPhone. I was like one of the last people to switch in my friend group.
Sure.
So by the time I was probably, I think 18 or 19 years old is when I had my first iPhone.
Yeah.
But before that,
that's
I had
pretty,
the
I mean, I
BlackBerry.
feel like for your age group, that's pretty normal. I had mine at like 15.
That's when you had your first iPhone.
Yeah, that's when I got mine.
Yeah.
But I was also, I guess, one of the last ones
To what? To have one?
to have an iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah. The iPhone's great, man.
You letting your kid have an iPhone?
I mean, I think you have to.
You think I agree?
What else are you gonna? How
I
else are you
agree.
gonna
I don't wanna be
communicate with
weird,
them?
dude.
Yeah. I also sometimes don't understand when people are like, I don't want to bring my kid into this environment. I think you gotta create. You know what I'm
Talking about
saying?
like just what is it? Fucking
Maybe it's-
antinatalism. Just
maybe
no having no
it's-
kids in general.
It's a political statement, and it's also with all the technology.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think people will say,
Dude, don't tell
It's
that
like,
to-
well, you gotta have a kid.
Bro, you talk to like the people with the shittiest lives and they have 12 kids. Every relative I know that's like not crushing it has the most kids.
I think it just makes life more fun. Makes
I
life
agree.
more meaningful.
It makes life more meaningful, and it just it gives you purpose. It teaches you to enjoy things again. I want to have some kind of stable nest egg before I do it, and then start thinking about it too. That's not even like do it.
But back 50 years ago, people didn't even really think like that.
No, they didn't. I know.
People were just like, all right, we're 25, 26, let's do it.
Yeah, but you had a lot of bad parents.
Maybe a lot of bad parents. Things were potentially cheaper back then.
It was
Not
a lot cheaper to raise kids.
Yeah. Not to say that boomers had it easier, but theoretically, maybe
100%
they did. Yeah.
You ever hear of active parenting?
Well, sure, but what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
True. I guess it is kind of a
What do you mean
catch-all
by
term. Studies have been done that kids grow up better if you study with them. And now the impetus is on parents to watch the media that their kids watch to make sure they're consuming the right thing and then explaining those things to them. And if they don't do that, then everyone blames the parents. And, you have to like go to your kids' sports games because if you don't, they feel unloved. And the reality of doing all that is it takes up a lot of time. Like having a kid is way more time consuming than it used to be if you're doing it well.
Wow. Dude, I didn't even think about
It's
that.
crazy. And that's one of the reasons why people aren't having as many kids because it's just the standard is so freaking high. And it's good.
Yeah,
like
that's
one of the upsides is that younger generations report having a way better relationship to their parents than older generations did. And a lot of that is because you just spend so much time with them. Which is good. I think that's overall a good thing. But in terms of having kids, that means that it's going to be a motherfucker. You can't just set it and forget it. You got to, continuously engaged.
100%, man. 100%. And in order to make as much money as, your parents said, you got to be working a lot more.
Hey, dude, you're telling me. My kids are never going to see me. I'm going to be on the road like crazy.
Hell yeah.
Doing Ted Jones World.
You like the road now?
I love it. It's great. But I very much have always subscribed to the philosophy with I will do anything for any amount of money. I mean, for a lot of money.
Comedy wise. But I think but dude, that's how we have
If you're in
to
Virginia, I'll suck your dick.
That's how we have to be, no?
I think I agree. I mean, I've always subscribed to that theory, and I mean, it's working out. But I'll tell you what, dude, there's a lot of people who have the opposite philosophy that are like, I only want to do this many things, but the things I do, I want them to be good. They're getting good too, It's like, who's to say what the right approach to this shit is?
Yeah, that's true. And then also people talk about growing up and doing comedy, or not growing up, but doing comedy in a I don't want to say like a second type of market, but if you're not in a handful of places, it's just more difficult to get on stage, which I'm sure you can agree
Exactly, for sure. If you're in the middle of the country and it's a Wednesday, you're fucked.
Right.
We tried,
but on the flip side, you could say that on a Thursday night, you'll do a feature for someone and you'll do more time than you would for more amount of people.
Exactly.
Which is also valuable.
100%. And it's different kind of people too, which I think is key. I dropped like a pro-trans joke in Minnesota, and a teacher threw a glass at me. Yeah.
Do you have video of it?
I wish. I should.
Man. Threw a glass at you.
She missed. It was like at the stage. Yeah, like broke on the stage.
Damn.
I kept moving. I didn't even acknowledge it. And the set actually went fine. But that was such like a nonchalant way to say fuck you. Instead of booing or anything, she's just like, I'm like, all right, point taken. Move on.
Did she get kicked out of the show?
No. Second.
No.
I'm not doing great gigs.
That is why.
Yeah.
Threw a glass at you.
Not. It's probably aggressive. She threw a glass at the stage, and it hit the stage, but it hit like not on the stage. It hit the front. It was an elevated surface, and it hit the
Was that your most dramatic moment on stage so far?
Probably some bombs. I've had some bombs that were pretty traumatic. What's your most traumatic moment on stage? Just always crush.
During a midnight show, somebody was super wasted, and I was like, "Can you guys stop talking back there?" And this woman just goes, and this woman goes, "Fuck you!"
Ooh.
And I was like, "Whoa!" Like that was aggressive. And then like the whole crowd sort of shut down. I slowly brought them back, but like that was the most dramatic thing.
That's insane.
Or I asked a guy. I was asking people where they were from, and I was lightly roasting people, and then I asked the guy in the back. I was like, "Where are you from, dude?" He goes, "You don't want to do this, bro."
Oh,
I was like, "What do you
jeez.
mean I don't want to do this?
hate
Where
that.
are you from, dude?
Dude.
He's like, "I'm from Texas." And I was like, "You didn't just sound like you were from Texas."
You tell me you were Jewish?
Nothing so dramatic, dude.
I would say that's not bad, dude.
No.
I dropped a anti-Trump joke. That didn't go well.
Well, where were you?
In Baltimore. And I dropped an election joke, and half the people in the crowd were blue hairs, and the other half were like dudes in jean
Can you
jackets.
explain
with
the
guns.
joke without giving it away?
Yeah, I'll give it away. It's a bad joke.
All right, give it away.
I've never posted it. The joke was he was when he won the election, he essentially gave a 4-hour speech. And he was like, they're launching a rocket up in the sky. The rocket goes up and down and up and down and up. And I was like, wait a second, I've been there. This motherfucker's stalling. The joke bombed, and there was one guy sort of like put his glass down and fucking looked up. Stereotypical movie redneck with like beard dripping off of his beard. You know what I mean? Like he didn't.
You said
even,
he was stalling, and that guy was that offended that you said.
Well,
he was
it
stalling?
was like 4 days after Trump won, and I made an anti-Trump joke, and I talked to someone about it after, and they was like, "Dude, they could smell the New York live on you." I was like, "Fuck," because I'm not very political on that. I'm not even a very political guy, honestly.
Sure, neither am I. I didn't vote, bro. I'll say it right
Hell
here
yeah.
before
Hell
you
yeah.
did.
Hell yeah. I respect
didn't
that.
vote.
I
And I'll
respect
say
that.
that I didn't vote. I didn't like either of the candidates, and I didn't want to
voted,
vote.
dude.
People hate it. Some people hate on me. When
I saw him.
say
I
that.
saw him write in a candidate, dude.
Yeah, I wrote it myself, dog.
He wrote it.
You know what it
Ted
is.
Jones for president. It's a publicity stunt.
Yeah, literally,
I actually
bro.
wrote it, not Ted Jones.
I gotta stay in the middle, man. I don't want to say either side. There were good people on both sides.
I'm with you. I'm
Good
with you
people
on
on both
that. I
sides.
don't want to alienate anyone, which is maybe I'm a bit of a pussy, but I feel like the people that if you do play to predominant liberal crowds, I'm like, this fucking sucks. I can't say what I want all the time, walking on eggshells. And then you play to a.
But also, if you do if you talk about your life on stage, which is a decent part of comedy.
Yeah.
How people won't really get offended, they're just
Oh yeah, no, of
experience
course,
they just
of course,
feel
yeah.
it's relatable.
I'm also not one of these fucking cancel culture's bullshit. What I'm saying
100%.
is like if your whole brand becomes liberal comedy, and you get those type of people at your shows,
or conservative comedy.
and same deal. If you make your whole brand like anti-left comedy,
Yeah.
then you get those type of people at your
Then
shows.
it's more difficult. It's more difficult to do the road when you're fully
That too.
a political comedian.
That too, yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
No, I just stick with relatable stories about my life or things that I find funny based on what I've seen in the media, or even if it is political, it's just purely opinion based.
For sure, if it's your perspective too,
Yeah.
and you're not necessarily trying to be political with it and be preachy, I think most people get it. If you just go the pure, this is kind of a ridiculous angle, Yeah, I've seen your act, dude. You're not. You'll
I'm a bubbly guy.
You play in the Midwest. That's an insult, by the way.
Or Mideast. Or the Middle East, I should say.
Or anywhere.
Mideast, yeah, or anywhere.
California
Just
Laugh
book
Factory.
me, brother. Are you going to be in New York for the rest of your life?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
I don't
Where did you
see
grow
where
up
I
in?
live.
You grew up in like
Up West Side.
110th Street.
104th. That was pretty good.
Okay, close to Central Park.
Or unless you were deliberately getting my address wrong so that we wouldn't advertise where I live to the viewers.
Yes, exactly.
That was really smart
yeah,
of
but
you.
theoretically they wouldn't know because I would have said, "Where did you grow up?"
Oh,
Not,
that's
"Where are
true.
you?"
Which I'm not there now, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Where I grew up Up West Side. Yeah.
I was just saying, would you be in New York the rest of your life?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I mean, I love most people I know and love are around here.
What's the worst part about New York?
The trains? Fuck the trains.
The trains, really?
I hate the trains, dude.
Why?
I had only because you're an old school New Yorker. The trains used to be so much more reliable. They've measured it. There used to be 8 times less the amount of train delays about 15 years ago.
Why is that?
Just deteriorating infrastructure.
But I feel like, well, it's maybe some, I shouldn't speak for all the trains, but there are some lines that are updating the carts, but then maybe it's the tracks too.
It's the
So
tracks.
like,
I mean, they revamped the whole system in the 90s
Yeah.
and they did it. They're in a shit ton of debt.
What
because they
train
did
do you
that.
take a lot?
Take the one.
Okay, that's an older train.
It's no train. It's honestly not even terrible, but I just remember it being so much better.
You do.
And and I've just been like, I just have to account for a 15-minute delay.
You know what it
whenever I
is?
go anywhere.
It's late at night. I think when it's very independent. But,
Exactly.
like, during the times when everybody's on it, it does seem more.
Then they're
reliable,
fine.
you know?
I agree. But late at night, easily trips that used to take 25 minutes now take like an hour 20.
Really?
Which is which is such a first world problem. I get it.
But what do you mean? Like you have to end up waiting a lot longer, or it stops at stops and then it will continue going? Like a trip that you said trip that takes 25 minutes takes an hour 25 minutes.
Both for sure. Yeah. There's empirically more delays. So meaning per stop.
Do you think the trains that's the worst thing about New York?
You know what's crazy? I've said that, and then I've had people be like, "What about homelessness?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm a dick."
Well, I'm talking about things that you experience. Things that you experience.
I'm taking the train, dog.
I was gonna say the cold, man.
Ah, fuck, that's a good one
Cold is
too.
whack.
Yeah, the city sucks, huh?
No, it's amazing, but the cold. It's the cold for me. Subway's probably top 3, but the cold is the worst thing about New York.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything worse about
that's
New York
valid.
than the cold.
That's valid. I didn't even think
what
of the
I've
cold, but that is a good answer. Part of me likes it because I'm getting fat, but
Oh, you like getting chubby? Do you work out? You asked me.
I work out. I work out.
How often do you work out?
probably like 2-3 times a week.
Do you go to a gym?
Yeah, for sure. But I eat like shit,
What kind of stuff do you eat?
dude. I eat pretty healthy during the day, but every night without fail.
Night is the tough.
Oh my
Night's
God,
the toughest
dude.
for everyone.
I can't sleep without it. I can't sleep without eating half a bag of crackers and a shit ton of Craisins cranberries.
Do you eat right before you go on stage?
No, I can't do that.
Craisins cranberries.
I eat so many of those,
That's
dude.
your kryptonite.
They're so bad. They're so good. No,
That's so random.
I know. Well, I always get a fucking bag of them because we need them for some recipe, and then I just have this big ass bag of cranberries. I eat them by the handful, dude. They're so bad for you.
That's just such a random vice.
Yeah,
Craisins, cranberries.
They're pretty
I would
bad.
understand maybe like goldfish, Cheez-Its.
I do those too. I'm pound goldfish.
Before I was vegan, I used to hammer goldfish.
Oh
and
man,
Cheez-Its.
that's what you miss.
Yeah, I do miss sometimes when I smell buffalo wings and being vegan. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but if I smell buffalo wings, I'm like, oof, that smells good.
Wow. Why did you decide to go vegan?
Well, I had very invasive jaw surgery.
Okay.
Like 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I broke my face in 3 places.
Jesus.
For like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months, I couldn't really chew anything.
Jesus.
So I transferred to just softer foods.
Got it.
And that was just the transition into being vegan. I was like, I can do this. And I'm not a foodie at all. I'll just eat anything that's vegan.
I'm kind of the
I can
same
eat
thing.
Whole foods.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go vegan. I've said this on record a couple times, but I'm probably gonna go vegan at some point.
Go vegan or go vegetarian?
Go vegan. I'd go vegan.
No
I don't
cheese.
do dairy already. So
Oh, all right.
that's that one. That part's
That's a
easy
big
for
part
me.
because people will say that that's a big reason that they wouldn't be able to go
Nah,
vegan.
I don't care. I think it is. If you have the means to do it, I think it is like the ethical thing to do.
Sure. Do you notice your friends or people that you went to school with are more so vegan now?
My friends
No.
don't give a fuck. Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't really ask.
Well, you'd probably know. They would tell you.
That's fair. They'd bring it up. They would bring it up. They don't have a lot else going for them.
Yeah, they would just tell you. They're like, I'm watching porn, eating Beyond Burgers. You don't have burgers or steak?
No, I do. I still eat meat now, but I kind of acknowledge it's a
Chicken?
vice.
You eat chicken?
Oh yeah. I eat so much.
Chicken was probably the last thing because I used to have chicken and salads. And
Yep,
then
that's the thing is I feel like, especially doing comedy in New York City and being broke, like so much of what I eat is either chicken salad or chicken sandwiches or even like a hot dog just because like, oh, I got 10 minutes and $8. I gotta, you know what I mean? I gotta get something. And it's just the easiest thing, gives me energy. I'm gonna probably do it after this.
Get a hot dog?
Probably. Go to a chicken sandwich or something.
Yeah. People all the time ask me what are in, because I do a vegan hot dog eating contest every year. By the way, awesome. July 4th, 6th annual Ted Jones World Vegan Hot Dog Eating Contest. TBA on the location. We're still working on that.
You should watch it.
But yeah, we've done 5 vegan hot dog eating contests, and people will ask me what is in a vegan hot dog, and people never ask what's in a hot dog that you eat.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Which you probably wouldn't want to know,
dude. And the pro meat. I mean, I don't want to say propaganda, but the amount of pro meat. Some of it's real. Some of it's real for sure. But I'll have people talk to. I've had multiple people tell me, they're like, listen, like I've seen soy. You don't want to have it. It's so bad for you. It's like, dude, have you seen factory farming? Like, also the worst stuff that vegans would eat, we're feeding to the animals anyway.
Yeah.
And that's the worst of it.
Yeah, exactly. So you're having both.
Yeah, exactly.
An animal.
Yeah.
You're having what's being fed and the animal itself. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the best argument to go vegan is when you watch some of these documentaries. And if you know how the classic phrase, if you know how the sausage is made,
it's awful.
It's not good.
It's awful.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm never one to try and make someone go vegan.
Sure.
But if I can make someone, try a vegan meal here or there,
they're good. I've had them. Yeah. They're good. They are. Not to undermine your point. The reason I don't do it now is they can be a little, like good ones can be a little pricey.
Like what?
Like good Indian food. Good vegan Indian food. Sure. I just don't like tofu too, straight up.
Okay.
And that cuts out a lot of it.
There are a lot of different ways to prepare tofu.
I've had so many. I've never liked it. Yeah, the texture gets me every time.
Yeah. Too mushy.
It's too, dude, I forget. I can't do it. I can't even articulate why, I guess.
Do you like the vegan replacement burgers?
Yeah, I love them. They're great. I'll actually get those instead of regular hamburgers usually.
Love that.
Yeah, they're dope.
That's good.
Impossible's awesome. I've always fucked with a black bean burger.
Yeah.
Big black bean burger fan.
Cheese we need to work on. I think that they're still a little bit behind. Well, I'm talking about vegan cheese.
Oh yeah, no, sure. It's not a problem for me.
Yeah. You've never really had cheese, or you just always had lactate problems?
No. My dad used to joke, which is so inappropriate to do for a 5-year-old. But because I didn't want to suck on my mom's tits, it's like, I think my kid's gay. It's just a hilarious thing to say to a fucking...
Because of the cheese?
Because I wouldn't eat dairy. And he was like, you don't want a kid. Which is a hilarious thing to say to a 5-year-old. Yeah. Also, that back that you could just openly be like, dude, kid, you're not gay.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Literally, that's hilarious.
No, so I just never liked it. I never liked dairy. I never liked the taste. Everyone disagrees with me, including scientists, but I've always...
Well, do you have oat milk, soy milk? Do you drink coffee?
Yeah, I don't like any... I drink coffee. I do a black.
Black, yeah, me too.
No, I feel like all dairy has the same aftertaste to me, and I've never enjoyed it.
I used to have it all the time before. It's interesting because I don't know about your grandparents, but my grandparents would push us to have cow's milk. They said that it made your bones strong.
For sure.
Calcium.
For sure.
People are learning new stuff every 5 years. The world's changing so much every 5 years, man. Did you ever do online comedy? Do you ever do shows like during COVID and like do shows on Zoom?
I thought you said online coming, and I was like, we're getting back into porn.
Do online comedy,
have I?
Yes, obviously you have.
Have I? Online? No, I started after all that.
I never did it.
Sounds awful.
A Zoom comedy show. But that's more of like the AI stuff.
That's true. You really do need the human connection.
You do need the human connection.
With stand-up, it's so important. Whenever you make a joke feel more organic and more connected, anytime you break the illusion that you're just a TV show up there talking, it just makes everything work so much better. And we as a comedian see in real time how important that human connection is. Because when you have that and you're saying the same shit, it just works better. because people know that you're a person there. And I think there's something inherent in the human brain that just acknowledges as another human being, you're supposed to behave this way. It's tough for AI to replace that.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe if you put a robot on stage with a human brain, maybe then
Could happen.
But even still, there's not that human to human connection.
Dude, it's tough. And
knows?
you see the way the human brain deteriorates too.
No, how do you mean?
Like you talk to old people and they're just not all
but
there
that
the way they
also,
used
but
to
this
be.
guy would argue that it's from what you put into your body.
There
Your
is-
brain could stay sharp for a lot longer.
It can stay sharp for a lot longer, but like how much longer? You know what I mean? Like it's like you fucking. I would be down to live if given that my body stays relatively healthy. I would be down to live to like 110.
Yeah, your body's got to stay healthy.
body's gotta stay
Like
healthy,
I don't want
that's
the
the
brain of I don't want the brain of a 30-year-old and then the body of a
It would
95,
just drive you
100-year-old.
crazy.
Yeah,
It just stagnates you. You ever been like sick and in the same room for a while? For like 5 days?
Definitely.
Dude, you just turn to mush. You turn to I've seen the most capable people I know just turn to idiots because they just haven't been outside in 5 days. That's why we were all dumb over COVID.
Did you have COVID? Did you ever get it?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I
How
did.
long were you sick for?
Like 5 days. Wasn't bad. I got it from
It wasn't bad or
Pork and
no?
a Lady. Let's go.
My God.
Let's
really?
go. Yes, sir. Yeah, I got it from her, and I would. I joked that we both got COVID at the same time because I got it from her, and I was like, "Hey, we're both in the COVID war. We're gonna have sex every single day, and then we just spend the whole time taking shits."
And then you guys just spend like 5 days together?
No, I didn't see her the whole time, dude. Because I would be sick. So I was like, I was just playing Super Mario Galaxy in my room. It was awesome.
Super Mario Galaxy.
You ever played Super Mario Galaxy?
Not
Oh
bro.
man.
I used to play Mario Tennis a lot. That was
All
my
right, that's
favorite
fair.
Mario game.
That's
You
fair.
play Mario Tennis?
Yeah, it's alright. Mario Tennis is a good
Solid.
time.
And then what was the Mario Party? That was good.
Mario Party's fun.
Super Smash Brothers?
I'm
you
nasty.
remember that?
I'm disgusting.
I never really got
I think I'm the
into
best
that.
comedian at Super Smash Brothers.
Really?
Oh, I'll make that claim for sure.
What do you play it on? Nintendo
Switch,
DS? Or Switch?
Switch.
What's the
I've
difference
played
between
on
the
it.
two?
I've played it on everything. They're different games, dude. The 3DS one, it's the same as the Wii
Different
version.
consoles, you mean?
There's
no?
that, yeah, but there's literally, it's the same series, but there's, the game is different across all of them. So it's very similar because of the same series. They have vaguely the same control scheme, but the character roster is different. The stage selection is different. I lived with competitive Super Smash Bros. Players for like 2 years in college, dude. So I'm pretty good.
What do you mean competitive Super Smash Bros.?
Oh man, this is a whole new audience. They would go to tournaments and shit to play Smash Bros. Yeah, and they would compete nationally, and they were ranked. One of my roommates has
what?
like 100,000 not 100,000, has like 10,000 subscribers for Smash Bros. Highlights. They were crazy. They were crazy. Yeah.
Do you make money doing this?
Yeah, I don't.
No, but they did.
They made very little. I mean, it was a net loss as is comedy, but they would whatever travel to San Diego and then make $200 on the tournament, but the traveling would obviously be more. And but yeah, they would make
How'd
some.
you meet them?
Just
They're
college.
friends?
Yeah, they're just friends.
Super Smash Brothers tournament.
Super Smash Brothers tournament.
That's insane.
It was crazy. I've been to a couple of them, dude. They're oh my god, it's a cesspool, dude. They smell. Every bad stereotype is so true. Everyone fucking reeks. Very nice people, a lot of them. By
Right,
the
but
way.
you don't got time to take a shower when you're just crushing Super Smash Bros. That's understandable.
Dude, that's gaming time.
Yeah,
it's
that's
gaming time. You would
what's your
spend in the
favorite?
shower.
What's your favorite game now?
Now, I don't really play that
Yeah.
many video games anymore.
It takes up a lot of time.
It takes up a lot of
like I
time.
used to play 7th and 8th grade. I would play a lot of Virtua Tennis
Yeah.
and Grand Theft Auto,
Oh,
a little
yeah.
Madden, NBA 2K. But video games takes up a lot of time.
It's and you get nothing out of it. I've argued with my friends about this in high school where I'm like, okay, but I feel like with other things that feel like a waste of time, you get supplementary benefits out of it. Like if you spend all your time playing basketball, it's like, yeah, maybe you won't get the best grades, but you're in good shape now. Like it's proven that that's conducive to living a healthy lifestyle. If you're social the whole time, same thing. Like you develop social skills. It's also just good for you to be around other people. If you play video games all the time, you get good at that video game, and that's it. That's the one thing you get.
And maybe there are one or two of them that become professional video gamers
It's
out of the millions of people
For sure.
who play it.
Terrible time sink.
Yeah, right.
Did you tell me? I have easily 1,600 hours in League of Legends, probably more. See, dude, you used to not have to use a calculator. Look at you
Bro,
now.
I know. I could easily do it. 66.6 days.
I got it.
That's
65.
that's good. Nice work.
That's not
That's
bad.
not bad at all. 2 months of your life playing League of Legends. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and you enjoyed it. So that's good.
It's looking crazy.
But it's video games. Hopefully in the future well apparently with this new Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out this year, there might be a way for you to actually make a living playing it.
I have
Which
to
would be
imagine that's
insane.
such a small portion of the player base.
Sure. Yeah.
There's something to it. And there also is something to the social aspect of video games, which I
Yeah.
didn't
If
appreciate.
you could put on a headset and start talking shit to
Especially if
people.
your friends are like not like your friends, especially after college and shit, your friends are all in different parts of the country. Like,
Yeah, and you
I
play
have-
video games with them.
Exactly. I have a lot of people who like that is their social interaction. That's how they connect with people. I totally get that. I didn't do that. I would just grind by myself. I played with like my other one or two like incel friends.
I'd say that the comedy industry is everybody's got a good social connection, especially in New
Yeah,
York.
I would
There's
agree.
like, there's probably 500 of us that are doing it pretty consistently. Maybe you
Something
think
about
more?
that. No, it feels about right.
500
500, yeah.
who like are doing it pretty consistently on a weekly basis.
I would agree.
And then maybe there's another couple thousand that will do an open mic here and there.
Yeah, I would 500, but I agree. I think that's because I wanted to be a YouTuber at one point before college, and I always am so happy that I did comedy instead because of the social interaction aspect. Like I'm forced to be out, I'm forced to talk to people. Even like this just sounds so lame, but like even like women, like I like you can meet girls doing comedy. That's not something that I expected when I got into this, but it totally makes sense. And I have, and it's, it's nice. It's cool. I would not get that doing YouTube. I would be super weird. Still am, arguably, but now it's in a way that's presentable to people.
Word up. Well, Greg, dude, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you for having me,
This is
dude.
great. Part 2.
Part
You're the
2.
man, dude.
course.
Before we get out of here, this will be up in a couple days. Let us know where you're going to be over the next month or so if you've got anything coming up. And please plug your Instagram as well where we can find you.
For sure. Greg Giraldo Jr. is the Instagram. I run a weekly show at the Perry Club.
Great show. Great show.
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way.
Tez played it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's $10 tickets. It's always a fun time. We've had a bunch of drop-ins from the cellar, so it's, you never know who you're going to get. You get great value for money. The food and drinks are amazing, too. Would love to see you there.
Amazing. Greg, you're the man, dude.
You're
We'll
the man,
see you
Ted.
next time. Peace.